Empire State Aerosciences Museum Airplanes by Diana LeBeer and Leah Hatter. They harbor over 19 different aircraft exhibits inside the museum as well as outside the museum. First up, you have the Bell UH-1 Iroquois, known as the Huey. The Huey was first introduced into the service for the United States Army back in 1959. The production eventually ended in 1976. The aircraft was distributed all over the government, including the Air Force, Navy, etc. The Huey is mainly known for Vietnam War and is a widely known helicopter. The Douglas F-3D Skyknight was built to be a fighter aircraft. Its manufacturer was the Douglas Aircraft Company. Skyknight's first flight was in 1948 and was first introduced in 1951. The Skyknight was finally retired in 1970. Its current status and reason for retirement is because the Skyknight phased out of service. There was only 265 built and was mainly used for the United States Marine Corps. The Grumman A-6E Intruder was part of the Attack Squadron 52 1980. Its role was an attack aircraft. Originally from the United States, its primary users were the United States Navy and United States Marine Corps. Its first flight was in 1960 but was introduced in 1963. The aircraft was retired in 1997 and had been retired since then. The number of aircraft built was 693. The Grumman S-2 Tracker, previously the S-2F, was the first purpose-built single airframe anti-submarine warfare aircraft to enter service with the U.S. Navy. The Tracker was of conventional design with two engines, a high wing, and tricycle undercarriage. Its first flight was 1952. It was introduced in 1954 and retired in 1976. Its primary users were Canadian, Australian, and United States Navy. The McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom. Designed during the 1950s, it was carrier-based interceptor for the U.S. Navy. It evolved into the most versatile, and numerous American fighter since World War II. Served as standard tactical fighter for the U.S. Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. Entered operation service with U.S. Navy in 1961 and the Air Force in 1962. Production ended in 1979. Over 5,000 had been built. The Republic F-84F Thunderstreak was an American-built swept-wing turbojet fighter bomber. While in an evolutionary development of the straight-wing F-84 Thunderjet, the F-84F was a new design. It was introduced in 1954 and retired from the U.S. in 1972, and from Greece it was retired in 1991. The Republic F-105 Thunderchief was a fighter bomber that originated in the United States. Its manufacturer was the Republic Aviation. The first flight was in 1955 and was introduced in 1958. The aircraft was retired in 1984. The primary users were the United States Air Force. There was a total of 833 built. The Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II was to be a fixed-wing closed air support, forward air control, and ground attack aircraft. Its manufacturer was the Fairchild Republic. The aircraft's first flight was in 1972 but was introduced in 1977. The primary user was the Air Force. The aircraft was produced from 1972 to 1984 with 716 built. The McDonnell F-101 B/F Voodoo was a fighter aircraft manufactured by McDonnell Aircraft. First flight was in 1954 and was introduced in 1957. The primary users were the United States Air Force and the Royal Canadian Air Force. There were 807 built. 17 different variants of the aircraft include the 101D, 101F, the CF-101F. The North American T-2 Buckeye was the United States Navy's first jet-powered dedicated trainer. being used to introduce the Navy's aviators to the jets. The design is uber simple. RG-21 served as an advanced trainer. The T-2 entered operation in 1959. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the credits. Yeah, right.